If you thought critical race theory was bad, wait till you find out what California school districts are implementing with something called, quote, woke kindergarten. Coming up, I'll tell you what it's all about and how we're leading the fight to stop it. I'm Carl DeMaio, chairman of Reform California, and you know that there's been a lot of controversy, and for good reason, over far left-wing crazy curriculum that's being put into schools across the country. And of course, here in California, we seem to have started that bad movement where we have critical race theory that's implemented in school districts that separate people by their skin color, foment racism and division, pit people against each other, and outright lie and misstate U.S. history. We also have seen very controversial sex ed curriculum implemented in California schools that promote a radical left-wing agenda of keeping secrets from parents, promoting gender-bending surgeries and therapies, talking about how kids ought to choose their personal pronouns, and even talking about some really racy and inappropriate content on sexual education topics. So let's talk about what this latest bizarre concept is. It's not CRT, it's not sex ed, it is woke kindergarten. What the hell is woke kindergarten? Well, take a look at the San Francisco Chronicle. They posted this. It says, a Bay Area school struggling to boost test scores, low test scores, and student attendance is paying $250,000 for an organization called Woke Kindergarten to train teachers to disrupt racism and remove those barriers to learning. The long and short of it is, after they implemented woke kindergarten, test scores fell even further. Well, this is quite interesting coming from the San Francisco Chronicle. No, I'm not going to go through the story. It basically says that the school district hired this firm, that woke kindergarten, no surprise, is all about the far left social agenda. And it has nothing to do with actual academic topics. It's all about everything in the world is racist. What is appalling about this? Kindergarten, for God's sakes, these kids are not racist. They don't even have a concept of race. They like candy and they like games and fun and recess for playtime. I've always said this, that kids are modern day kids are being taught racism from their school districts. It's appalling. That is exactly what's happening. The left wants to get kids to see themselves as different rather than as something common, which is we're all Americans. We are human beings. That is what a conservative view is that, look, your skin color is irrelevant. Everyone is given the same freedoms, the same rights. There's no special treatment or special status. It's the left that wants people to see themselves as different. They want to see people as victimized and pit people against each other by saying, oh, you're the victim and that's your victimizer over there. And the only way you can protect yourself is vote for the left-wing politician. Oh, of course, it always comes back to maintaining their power. And that's why these topics are so toxic and they are so divisive. So wasted money trying to teach teachers about racism rather than teaching teachers or helping teachers understand academic performance and how to teach kids appropriately, as well as get them to hit the academic performance outcomes that we want to see them hit. Keeping with the topic of our schools, because our teachers are so bad, actually, the ones that are left are all social agenda people. I want to be very clear. There are exceptions to the rules. I'm not saying all teachers are like this, but think about it. It makes perfect sense. Teachers want to teach kids. They want to teach kids about academics, to dream big. A good teacher wants to support their kids, but they want also their kids to learn the basics. Teachers take pride in that. Good teachers do. The reason why I think we're running good teachers out of California classrooms is that we are mandating that the teachers do things that the teachers know are not right, like the sex ed curriculum or critical race theory, the woke agenda. These teachers know that this isn't right. And so the good teachers that just want to focus on reading, writing, and arithmetic, the academic standards, they're basically saying, I won't be party to hurting kids or promoting a political agenda. I'm going to go move to another state or go get a different type of job or work for a private school. We do have a teacher shortage in California. I think that the reason why we have a teacher shortage in California is because of the toxic political environment that we've created. We also don't support our teachers in terms of discipline. Remember, the California legislature in the past year passed a law making it impossible for a school district to discipline a kid, suspend them for, quote, willful defiance. In other words, if they disrupt the classroom, you can't punish them. It's just absurd. So teachers are not being given the support inside the classroom, just in terms of, what they've got to deal with. It's an unruly situation in some of these schools. Well, now Democrat State Senator Steve Padilla, who represents District 18, which is Riverside in San Diego, I think part of San Bernardino as well. He's introduced Senate Bill 995. It's called the High Quality Teacher Recruitment and Retention Act. The High Quality Teacher Recruitment and Retention Act. You would think that this bill, increases quality standards for teachers. Nope. Quite the contrary. Democrats always are guilty of fraud and misrepresentation, and this bill is no different. Padilla's SB 995 bill would actually cut 2 years out of teacher undergraduate and credentialing coursework, which means it would give them less training and education in order to become a full-time teacher with full-time course load. The law requires a 5-year pilot program to establish a pipeline from community colleges to a state university system so that we can get these teachers credentialed faster with less education, less training. The bill is predicated on a false narrative that somehow teachers retired early in the wake of COVID-19. No, I'm not seeing that at all. I think teachers retired because they realized that the schools are run by Marxists and people who don't care about the kids anymore. Shutting down schools was offensive to many good teachers. And of course, as I just mentioned, the woke agenda, the racism, the CRT, and the inappropriate sex ed content, it all pushes teachers out the door. Teachers also don't agree, by the way, with the keep the secrets from the parents requirements. That's got to weigh on teachers who realize that parents are loving and need to be there to support kids. So again, if you want to get more recruitment and retention of quality teachers, you don't create an environment where you subject them to out-of-control kids with willful defiance without any punishment. You don't create an environment that's highly politicized on the far left with an agenda that teachers know is not wholesome and not appropriate. And you don't reduce the standards. You make sure that we have these standards put in place. The standards have worked for so many years. Why water things down? Get to the root cause. So there you have it, this Senate bill. One last point I want to make. Speaking of COVID, here's the headline. California agrees to a $2 billion settlement over COVID pandemic learning loss for struggling students. What's interesting about this is a group of parents sued the state of California. And they basically said that the students had learning loss and mental health impacts because of closing schools. And if you notice how quiet this lawsuit has been handled, if you notice that the liberal media really isn't covering this very much, they cover the settlement real quick as though, remember that learning loss that we all denied, that the politicians and the liberal media denied? Well, yeah, apparently it was proven in court. And so there's a $2 billion settlement. Where's the money coming from? The COVID relief funds are now being used to pay and compensate for these kids that have been hurt. how about we hold people accountable, the politicians accountable, and their enablers in the liberal media for destroying the education of these kids by shutting the schools down. Other states did not do what California did. They did not have the severe public health outcomes that people were screaming about and warning about and scaring people about. And as a result, their kids had less of a learning loss. California was absolutely wrong to do what they did. They abused our children. They hurt our children. And no amount of money is going to, fix the real problem. So $2 billion to deal with learning loss. Well, these schools are already basically failing. 2/3 of California students are failing math proficiencies. A majority are failing reading and writing. And so what, you're going to say, oh, yeah, we're going to spend more money in the same broken system that prioritizes wokeness and far left agenda over actual learning? I mean, come on. These kids were hurt, and this $2 billion is not going to fix that problem. Where are the Republicans talking about this, by the way? Where are California Republican elected officials talking about this? Are they hiding in closets somewhere? Lord knows. That's why at Reform California, we're leading the fight to recruit and elect better school board candidates. My team always is out there looking for good school board candidates to recruit them for open positions, as well as run against bad school board members. We have our endorsement guide, the Reform California Plain English Voter Guide. And I encourage you to check out the website, supportcaparents.org. Supportcaparents.org. It will take you to this website, parents.org. Supportcaparents.org. It'll take you to this website, which not only has information on our programs to recruit and train and support good school board members, but it allows you to join a parents coalition in your area, make a contribution to the fight, and of course, become a volunteer as part of our Reform California campaigns. We also have inappropriate curriculum that you can look at, both the CRT curriculum and some very inappropriate books with controversial content. This is stuff that the media will not show you. So when you talk to your fellow parents and neighbors about what's really going on in the schools, and they say, well, that's not true, they're not teaching bad stuff. Well, you can actually say, warning, warning, trigger warning. Here is some of the curriculum that's in the schools that in California that we want to try to excise and reform and get out of there. But it all starts with a good school board. And so I believe, and this is why my Reform California movement has prioritized recruiting and retaining and training and supporting and endorsing candidates for school board. We prioritize that because we've got to take back our schools from the far left. That's it today for these stories. Until next time, I'm Carl DeMaio, chairman of Reform California. Help us break through the censorship of the liberal media. Like this video, subscribe to this channel, and smash that notification button so you can stay up to date on all the developments in California news and politics. Also, please visit the website, reformcalifornia.org, for ongoing news coverage and to join one of our campaigns in the fight to take back our state. If you can, please sign up as a volunteer or chip in a contribution. This episode of Reform California with Carl DeMaio, paid for by Carl DeMaio for State Assembly 2024.